Good afternoon, one and all. My name is Ayush Mani Chaudhary, and I have secured a rank of 723. And this was my second attempt and my second interview also. Through this session, I'll share my strategy, my journey, how I planned for my prelims, for my mains, how I planned about the different subjects that I went through. And this will be my short strategy. One thing that I would like to say is this is not a fixed plan. Planning should be at the individual level for everyone according to her or his needs. They should plan effectively according to the given time. And this would be just a brief roadmap how we can go about it. So starting with my journey, I have done my graduation as well as post graduation from IIT Bhubaneswar, and my journey started there itself. Uh, I had a dream of becoming a civil servant from the starting, so I had planned accordingly when to start my preparation, what all subjects to study prior hand only. I started with my preparation in my third year, and it is a bit difficult, especially for college students, and secondly for science background students, because there is a lot of inertia in their mind when they start preparing for humanity subjects when they have an engineering background. So when I started in my third year of my college, uh, a lot of things just flew over my head. I used to continuously revise the topics for a long number of times. Still, it did not used to retain in my head. How I planned it in my college is important because it provides an opportunity to the college going students to go about this preparation. So I started my preparation after my college classes used to get over. I used to sit in my college classrooms only till late night, or I used to study in the library because in IITs the hostel rooms are not air conditioned, and we even don't have a cooler facility. So air conditioning would be there in the classrooms and library. So I used to study there till late night, and I used to plan effectively. I had in my mind that I had to give the 2022 attempt, and mine was a 5 year dual degree course. So I had my third year, fourth year, and fifth year, good 3 years or 2.5 years to go about my preparation. So initial 1 year went on to get acclimatized to the subject. So firstly, the first important thing is syllabus. I had a printout of the syllabus on my desk, and it is still there on my desk, the same syllabus in whatever condition it is there. So I had meticulously studied the syllabus. I analyzed it that there are four different GS subjects. So, what are there in the four different GS subjects? So, I started with history and polity. So, as I said, first year went into getting used to this humanities background, and once I got a hold of it in my fourth year, I went for a rigorous study, more rigorous study. I started with my optional. Uh, my background is civil engineering, but I took the optional of geography. This is because it was a strategic decision. Uh, Geography had some portions related to civil engineering. Also, studying geography saved a lot of time for me from general studies one paper. So once I took a hold of geography, I never left it because I knew that I had interest in other optionals also. So once I took a hold of this geography session, I never left it. I started my geography preparation in my fourth year of college when I had 2 years remaining. So that is why the importance of this planning. I had in my mind that I have to sit for prelims 2022. I completed my geography, a basic understanding of it in around 6 months. And I believe any optional requires around 1 year or 1.5 years. This is according to me. Every person has his or her own needs, own capabilities. They can take more than 1 year or less than 1 year. It entirely depends on them. So I took a good 6 months time to study for geography. I got only a basic understanding of it. Then I went on to complete my GS syllabus. So I meticulously designed all the GS1, 2, 3, 4, divided into parts, which I'll deal in the coming few minutes, and completed the syllabus and sat for the 2022 prelims. I qualified prelims. I qualified mains. I sat for the interview. However, I missed the interview or the personality test and didn't make it to the final list by a few marks. But I again made the next attempt, and this time I was successful and blessed with a good rank. So this was a brief introduction about myself, and also I would like to thank my parents, my mother, father, who have been the constant support throughout my journey. My father is my motivation because being from a civil services background, I got to know what are the opportunity that this area provides. What are the challenges? What are the different areas in the government where we could work? He also helped me with my preparation. My mother, uh, who was like my backbone throughout the whole preparation, my constant support, the one who cheered me up. My bhaiya and my bhabhi, who who are just like my mother and father, and they ensure that I get all the necessary facilities and I didn't lack in any aspect. And also my good friend Nikita, who has been a constant support throughout my whole journey, who used to correct my mistakes, provide provided me with a very important insight, especially during my interview stage. So she was my constant support throughout the whole preparation. Now going about my strategy. So I'll share my strategy subject wise. So going with general studies one, please don't mind my writing because it's awful. I know. So going with general studies one, we divided into its different branches: history, ancient, medieval, modern. Ancient, medieval, modern. History is one of the tricky subjects when it comes to both prelims. It is more predictable in the mains. One more important aspect is art culture. I'm doing this because art culture encompasses ancient, medieval, and modern both, all three. So I believe that history is very unpredictable, but we can only earmark the areas which are important. First thing, most importantly, we have to complete the syllabus. That is the basic requirement. So studying with the basic books, going with NCRT, Spectrum, Tamil Nadu textbooks, R.S. Sharma, Satish Chandra, developing a basic understanding of every historical aspects. Now, for instance, in the ancient history, understanding the timeline, how the history started from the Paleolithic age, Chalcolithic age, then the Indus Valley civilization, then the Vedic times, then the development of Mahajanpads to the empires. Its continuity with the medieval. There is no specific timeline, but mostly it is regarded the reign of Harshavardhan. So, the understanding a transition, what all cultural developments happened during this transition period, and what all developments took place in the society, in the economy. Every important aspects during this transition is important to get a hold of this medieval history. Medieval history is very complicated because a lot of kingdoms, a lot of wars, but limiting our syllabus to important facts. For instance, just the important art and culture fact of it. The different kings, their important contribution to the art and culture, coinage, temple development, and Indo-Islamic architecture. Every important aspect ensures completion of the medieval history. Modern history is the most important uh, aspect in history when it comes to the cost benefit analysis, because there are certain topics in modern history like social movements, important nationalist, tribal movements, peasant movements, then the different acts, Government of India Act, Charter Act. They constitute an important topic from where we can expect questions. For instance, there was a direct question regarding some Government of India Act or Charter Act in this year's prelim. So this was a direct question from this topic. So going over to the next topic, that is geography. Geography was a strong area for me because I didn't have to study geography specifically because it was in my optional. Geography is also one area which I believe that is very tricky because it has a lowest cost benefit analysis. Being my optional in geography, even I scored good marks in mains, many of my prelims questions were wrong in this year's geography. So no one can guarantee good marks in geography. However, limiting few facts, for instance, physical features of India. Every physical features, mountains, lakes, rivers, valleys. Because in this year's prelims question, three direct questions were there from this physical features part. Although they were difficult, however, we know our boundary, we know our limits where we have to study. So physical feature is very important. Then the different geographical or geomorphological process, like earthquake, understanding the tectonic movement, volcanic activity, very important. This year there was a direct question in prelims from the earthquake portion, the S waves and the P waves. So a direct question comes from this topic also. Um, then the sources, NCRTs are a very good source because they encompass a complete domain of the geography, starting from the ninth class till the 12th class. Regarding understanding of physical features, I would suggest that if the aspirants can take a particular dedicated book of geography optional, for instance, Savinder Singh or Majid Hussain, just to study one particular topic, it would be very beneficial for them. This is an option. This may work or may not work. This was according to me. Everyone has to choose according to their own plans. And one important aspect regarding geography I can suggest is map making. Map making goes very handy when we want to fetch extra marks in mains because it breaks the monotone of the long answers. It adds a visual appearance to the answers, and also it gives us an edge over the other people who are writing. So, developing a brief freehand drawing of the map of India, for instance. Developing a basic understanding of the map of India is very important. How? We can use it in different GS subjects, not limited to geography. For instance, There was a question on the geographical factors that played an important role in the development of ancient history of India in GS1. So, what I did was I drew this map and I highlighted important aspects. For instance, the Hindu Kush passes, the Indian Ocean region, the frontiers of India, the Himalayas, the Thar Desert. So, they add a visual effect to the examiner to fetch us some extra marks. There was again a question on internal security challenges in GS3. One internal security challenge that I highlighted is the illegal drug trade. And I highlighted that the golden crescent and the golden triangle of drug trade. For what I did in this answer was just a brief map of India, and I highlighted the golden triangle. So I highlighted the golden triangle and the golden crescent of drug trade and drew the route via which this goes. So this is an important internal security challenge of India because India is a transit route in between the golden triangle and the golden crescent. So this added a visual effect, fetched me more marks in my GSC. So you can use map meticulously for gaining an extra edge. Regarding sociology aspect of the GS1, I would suggest that studying a contemporary topics which are there, women issues, caste issues, urbanization, uh, all the different keywords that are given in the GS1 syllabus is important, and just getting a hold of the questions that are asked, preparing some data facts. Then coming to GS2, one important aspect is Lakshmikant, and it is one of the important book that will give you the most important cost benefit analysis, because direct questions in prelims and direct question in GS2 are asked from Lakshmikant. And how to study Lakshmikant? People often ask me how to study Lakshmikant because we continuously revise, and still we don't get a hold of it. I revised Lakshmikant almost for 20 to 25 times. And I can say with guarantee that when I revised it for the 10th time, I was not able to get a hold of the answers. I was not confident of myself. But when I revised more and more, practiced a lot of different questions, integrated the current affairs part with the Lakshmikant syllabus, did provide me with the confidence. And that's why, with much surety, I'm saying that Lakshmikant is a very important book which aspirants should study meticulously. So, in firstly, in GS2 part, the polity portion would be entirely covered from Lakshmikant, and some important questions we can predict. For instance, there's a regularly asked question of constitutional or non-constitutional bodies. For instance, there was a question on competition commissions of India. So we need to keep that in handy, which bodies are there in the current issues. Then with the governance part, you can prepare with any material that is available, because it is one gray area which does not offer many sources. So any material can be utilized for this. And the international relation. International relation is one part where any particular issue, any particular area, or any particular organization that is being formed in the international sphere will be directly asked in the GS2. For instance, in the 2022 mains, I2U2 was formed just around 4 5 months before the mains, and it was directly asked. So studying all the current affairs of the GS2 for international relation is very important, and GS2 is one scoring area where we can actually get marks. Then coming to GS3, GS3 is one area where there's a lot to study. So first thing most importantly, economics. Economics is, apart from polity, economics is the second important area where it would fetch us the most cost benefit importance. So, studying important aspects of economics, for instance, some areas like monetary policy, understanding the banking system, will definitely provide us edge in the prelims paper. Mains paper is a bit tricky, but for prelims paper, continuously revising economics and continuously revising polity would fetch us good 35 to 40 questions. And this year's cutoff was 75. So even if we answer 40 questions correctly, we are good to go. So polity, economy, I'm again stressing, very important. So for economics, standard books are not very effective according to me. So studying from any material that is available is a good to go. Every material is good enough. Then other important aspects like internal security, disaster management, they're not as much in the prelims but in the main. So these certain small topics can be left if after the prelims part. So again, I'm saying this is my planning, and anyone can plan according to his or her own needs. Then going for GS4, ethics. GS4 contains two important parts. Firstly is ethics, secondly is case studies. GS4 is the most important factor, the most important cost benefit when it comes to means, because it is not asked in the prelims. It is only important for means. So highest cost benefit analysis can be achieved in this GS4 if we study this meticulously. Now, what do I mean by studying this meticulously? Now, firstly, I'll focus on the ethics part. The different keywords: ethics, integrity, aptitude, behavior, attitude. Very important. We need to be thorough with every particular keyword. I made a list of around 80 to 90 important keywords in ethics. I memorized them thoroughly. Obviously, it takes a lot of time, but this whole exam requires time. So we need to plan accordingly. We need to dedicate time for this. So prepare a list of 80 to 90 keywords. This was according to me. And how to prepare a list of these keywords? So take all the previous year's questions of ethics from, for instance, past 10 years paper, and we need to look what important keywords are asked. And then we also need to study different materials that are available, what keywords are listed in them. So preparing a holistic list of the keywords, very important. Keywords. Second important part is theories. Theories slash philosophies. Different theories and different philosophies of great people like Kant, uh, important theories of Indian thinkers like Kautilya, uh, different important theories can be coined because it gives us an edge. Because blandly explaining different aspects in ethics won't fetch us very good marks. But if we supplemented it with this theory, for instance, there was a question on importance of attitude or integrity for civil servants and how to develop them. I answered the question, and I also highlighted the uh, important triangle that was given by Kautilya in his theory. The triangle of good governance given by Kautilya, Yogakshema, Raksha, or Palan. I highlighted it in my answer. This fetches us very good amount of marks. So I also prepared a list of different theories and philosophies of all the important great thinkers and philosophers. I also coined stories of Ramayana, Mahabharata in my answer. That did fetch me a good amount of marks. So, uh, as I said, this is a very important cost benefit area because I studied ethics a lot in my this year's attempt. Last year I got 83. I meticulously studied and increased my marks in ethics to 105. So it is one very important area where we can actually fetch good amount of marks. And the third important aspect is important civil servants. Because we want to become a civil servant, we need to know actually what some of the respected civil servants have actually done work on the ground. And there are a lot of people working behind the steel frame of India, the civil servants. They're actually contributing a lot at the ground level. So, developing a list of civil servants and the important works is very important in ethics. And the second part is case studies. So, this is purely based upon practice. The more we practice, the more scenarios and the issues which we encounter, we develop a habit to how to deal them and how to write them on paper. So, this requires practice. Prepare a list of all the case studies that we can actually do, and then we can go about this. And then coming to essay. Uh, Essay is one area which this whole mains paper is very subjective. Essay is the most subjective paper of all. But how to break down the essay? We don't need to be very monotone about the essay. We need to divide the essay into different parts. Uh, The topics that are given in the previous few years essay paper are very philosophical. Uh, so they expect us that we break down that whole subjective philosophy into different areas, and that is exactly the demand of a important civil servant, because he or she needs to analyze what a given situation is this and their implications into various domains, which is essentially tested by the essay part. So breaking down the essay quote into different keywords, understanding its importance, then going about into different domains: economic, political, social, and obviously this requires a lot of practice. So, and practice is very essential for this exam. Breaking it down into different parts, learning some important quotes of great people, and not just any random quotes. The quotes that go with the theme of the essay and the text that we are writing is important for the essay part. And when we started the essay part, then only we actually get to analyze that how we can improve, because we have to write two essays of approximately 1500 words each or 1300 words each. Writing any such big text of such a random topic is very difficult. But only what we have in our hand is we can break it down into subjective matters, and that is very important. Also, highlighting some important works that are done in those subjective parts, highlighting some important quotes that goes with the flow of essay fetches us good marks. So this was all about the essay. This was my main strategy. Now coming back to the prelim strategy. Prelims paper is becoming dicey by the day, and everyone has his or her particular potential, his or her particular planning. This was my planning. And this is not a benchmark. It it may completely go with one person, it may not, it may completely go against one person. So this was my strategy, and I gave two attempts and I cleared the prelims in both my attempts. So I can say with a certain amount of dignity that it works. So for prelims there are 100 questions, 2 marks each, so 200 marks paper. What I did was I attempted 90 questions. Now people may say that 90 questions is a lot of questions. I used to keep an accuracy of 66.5%, 66.6%, or 60 correct, 30 incorrect. Because prelims paper is so difficult, I always kept in my mind that this much incorrect answers would be there. Even if I tried to my level best, even if I know everything, a lot of questions would go incorrect. That is why I attempted a lot of questions. This gave me 90 marks. Sorry, 100 marks. This year's cutoff was 75. And going by the trend of the prelims cutoff, it is decreasing by the day. And obviously, this is not a fixed formula. I had in my mind that I had to attempt 90 questions. And obviously, it changes according to the day, according to the pattern of the question paper that is available. When I saw the question paper, I knew instantly that the paper is difficult. I knew that the cutoff is going to decrease. So I decreased my number of attempted questions to around, I don't remember exactly, but around 84 or 83 questions, something like this. Finally, with all my correct and all my incorrect total, I got 90 marks in my prelims, clearing the cutoff by a good margin. So this was my strategy to attempt the questions. Obviously, it may completely go with person. Obviously, it may go completely against one person. As I already highlighted two important subjects, eco and polity, highest cost benefit analysis. And if we manage these two, a combined of 35 to 40 question comes. So if we sail through eco and polity, I used to bank upon these two subjects. Geography being my optional, I knew that a lot of questions would go wrong in my geography. So I banked upon these two subjects. Then other history, low cost benefit analysis, but still we can study modern history, which has a higher cost benefit analysis. Then environment science tech, highly current affairs based, but we need to be very thorough with the basics. What do I mean by basics? The basics of environment, the different acts, Environment Protection Act, Wildlife Protection Act, Air Pollution Control and Prevention Act, different acts, different international bodies, IUCN, WWF, the red list, the green list of IUCN, UNFCCC, different summits, the different outcomes of the COPE. They form some basic background of the environment. We need to be thorough with that, and obviously, environment science like 80% current affairs based. Science tech, basics in science tech are biotechnology, uh, basic 10th level physics and chemistry. Not chemistry is not as that much, but yeah, chemistry is mostly current affairs based, so not much to go into that. So biotechnology is one important area which I believe is important to study, because a lot of questions are being asked on vaccines, and that is completely linked with biotechnology. So this was the general studies paper, GS paper of prelims. Then CSAT. CSAT is also a controversial topic, but I never had to prepare much for CSAT because I had an engineering background. Uh, but what I can break down the CSAT paper, according to my understanding, is we need to get 67 marks in CSAT, and each question is of 2.5 marks. So effectively, we need to attempt around correct questions of 28 effective questions or 29 something effective questions. The passage in CSAT are around 24 to 25. If we attempt passages meticulously, we get good marks. Second important is the different logical questions that are asked, that are not maths but logical questions. For instance, the patterns that are asked, some questions regarding the direction, if they travel some certain distance north, certain distance west or east. Those are not math, those are logical questions. They are also around 10 to 11 questions. So even if we completely disregard maths, even if we completely leave it, if we are thorough with our language and the logical part, we are good to go with the CSAT. Some people are good in maths, not in the language paper. So again, 24 to 25 question of maths, good to go. So this was my CSAT strategy. And regarding certain maths question, we can practice certain topics, for instance, linear equation in two variables or probability. So we are good to go with that. Nothing much deep to go into it if we are good to go with our language and our logical reasoning part. So this was all from my side, and I really want to thank GS Core for giving me this opportunity to reach out to the people. And thank you so very much. Thank you.